Okay. Hold on. Let's just tone down for a minute. Alright, what's going on, guys? It's me again. We're back at it with another video. Sorry that take a little bit of a hiatus. I got sick. But I'm here, and we're today. It's time to address something. So, yeah. Let's do that. So for those of you who do not know what's like going on right now, apparently there's like a whole like YouTube age verification thing that's going on where like they're trying to like test, basically make sure that their viewers are 18 plus, and if they're not, then they're like taking away all their features and whatnot, and you need like an ID for that. And yeah, apparently it's everything. It's going crazy right now. Like people are threatening to boycott YouTube. They're telling people to stop using it, and they're telling people are making videos about like how like it's ruining the platform right now. So yeah, I figured I'd why not react to a couple of these and see what's like going on right now, and also something else that I figured out that's like might not it might be worse than than the YouTube verification thing because it's pretty bad from what it looks like. All right, so let's start off with the YouTube thing first, and then we'll get into the juicier stuff. By the way, before we jump into this, please subscribe and like, and then share this video so it could get out to more people, and hopefully we could keep pumping out content more frequently. I promise that I'll do it a few times a week. I don't want to like make you guys wait like 2 weeks every single 2 weeks. That wouldn't be fun. So yeah, I just had to say that, and now let's get into it.
This week, YouTube rolled out automatic age verification in the US. It forces users who the company's AI system guesstimates might be under 18 to submit their government IDs or full biometric scans just to watch certain YouTube videos. YouTube is the first major tech platform to preemptively normalize invasive identity checks for everyday online activity and content consumption. This new identity verification system creates a dangerous precedent. It's building this surveillance infrastructure that normalizes the tracking of legal and previously anonymous content consumption, all under the.
Okay, so I get the thing that like, yeah, they want to like um uh make sure that you're 18, I guess, but like so far, like it doesn't make sense. Like you don't really need to like go into like people's like private like you don't need to bombard people and ask them if they're of age, like because yeah, ready and age verifications, because like honestly it's not that bad. Like why would you need to verify somebody's age so soon? And just in general, honestly, on YouTube, like nothing, I haven't heard of anything bad going on, but YouTube is known for doing like a lot of stupid stuff and demonetizing and age restricting, and the most like I'd say like clean clean content, people that aren't like that bad, and then there's like all the other issues that YouTube hasn't addressed to, that they refuse to address to, and it's just like a bunch of hypocrisy so far.
Guise of child safety. The company made this announcement back in February when they claimed that it would soon introduce tech that would automatically distinguish.
And also, why use AI? Like, it's not gonna work. Like, it's not that efficient yet. Like, we haven't gone that far to trust it with like using it. So why not just use actual moderators to do it? Because that'd be like more reasonable, I guess. I don't know.
Between younger viewers and adults to help provide the best, most age-appropriate experiences. It follows similar moves from across the tech industry, from platforms like Roblox to Instagram. The company claims that its age estimation model allows them to deliver protections all while preserving user privacy. I would argue
it's not privacy. I mean, if you're asking people if they're 18, then it's not really privacy. Probably a one-time thing if it's considered private, but I don't know.
very much does not preserve user privacy, and we'll get into that in a minute. Long story short, with this automatic age verification from YouTube, if you watch a lot of skibbity toilet videos, for instance, maybe you're a journalist writing about it, or you let your kid use your account to watch videos, you might have to hand over a selfie, a credit card, a government ID, just to continue to use YouTube. Today, I want to talk about why all of this is really bad, despite the fact that it might sound good. And the first thing that I want to get into is this idea of tech companies sort of pre complying with censorship laws. We all know that there are really dangerous censorship laws right now in 11 states. And federally, we have things like the Kids Online Safety Act, a really dangerous censorship bill that would essentially censor any sort of adult content off wide swaths of the internet. Age verification, as you probably know if you watch any of my previous videos, is sweeping the nation. And frankly, it shouldn't even be called age verification. I keep catching myself saying that. It should be called identity verification because in order to properly identify users' ages, you actually have to identify everyone and tie everyone's online behavior to offline identity to know who is a child and who is an adult. So, identity verification laws are rolling out. Obviously, we need to do everything we can to stop them in the legislative system. But what YouTube is doing scares me even more than some of these laws because YouTube is preemptively instituting these AI age verification systems without having to do so by any law. So there's no oversight. YouTube's basically pre complying, saying, well, we think we might be regulated. We think age verification is coming. So we're just going to start complying with it already. This creates a really slippery slope where YouTube basically sets a precedent and they're going to start normalizing identity checks, monitoring all previously anonymous online activity, which creates this culture where other tech companies that also want to hoover up.
Yeah. Now this is already something that you've kind of seen. There's like that thing on Instagram where like teen safety settings, and I'm like, I remember the first time I saw that, I was like, I just ignored it because I don't need safety stuff. It's like it's like putting child safety mode for like little kids on like a 17-year-old's like social media stuff. Like you don't need that. Like they're almost 18. They've seen, let's say, some they're aware of like horrendous, like not like young kid appropriate stuff that could be surfacing on the internet and that kind of stuff. So there's no need for teen, in terms of teen pretending to be adults, no need for teen safety. Scary music. Like there's definitely like more teenagers than adults probably on Instagram, like daily average, like probably. I don't know, but I would say that probably teens and young adults, not just like teens, but yeah, a lot of kids using social media. So you might as well just not need this since you kind of know like who's like using like certain stuff, and also like can you not check like somebody's like birth date like settings on their account like to determine if like they're, well, obviously some people would fake it, but who knows? I don't know. Some people really just choose not to. Some do.
Massive amounts of our data are going to start doing it too. Instagram has started kind of similar efforts, and we're seeing other tech companies preemptively rolling out age verification because
I mean, TikTok's already under flame, so this has already been something that's like addressed too.
of this public support. This to me is actually the scariest outcome that could have possibly happened because at least with laws, we can fight the laws. We know what's in the laws. There's a level of transparency to laws. When these companies just institute these policies that have sort of broad-based support, because again, there's this moral panic about social media. So you have parents like, yay, age verification, these idiot lawmakers, these idiot leftist content creators, yay, child safety laws.
Okay, probably not leftists, but I don't know, bro. It sounds extreme, so, but honestly, I think people in general will just come up with it. It doesn't matter what party you're a part of, but yeah, what does this say? Parents want more children content. I mean, well, yeah, to do the whole like protect your kid from inappropriate content stuff, like just remove the content and then like set up like AI to like detect inappropriate content with like a bunch of different like tags and like stuff that it could detect it with. Kind of like the YouTube search algorithm, yeah, an algorithm to detect it. Like you don't need to ask if someone's 18 because then you're just gonna let them see it either way. Like nobody either way should be looking at inappropriate content. It's like corn. Like nobody should be watching corn like normally. Like instead of stopping kids from seeing it, stop everybody from seeing it. Like that's it. Like it doesn't. that's what needs to happen. But no, I don't think so yet. I don't know.
age verification, there's this sort of public support for dystopian surveillance, and they're able to roll out this deeply problematic tech without any sort of pushback and without any sort of like legislative oversight or having to operate within the bounds of any sort of specific law. And obviously, of course, rolling this stuff out comes with a lot of downsides. Identity verification, as I
I mean, honestly, like this, like corn sites, like don't really have like age verification like protocol. So it kind of just asks if you're 18 or not. I think we all know that kind of. And I'm pretty sure, let's say kids, young kids, if they ever encounter that, it'd be like a psychological kind of thing, like test, because like they're tempted to say that they are, but a lot of them would get scared and say that they're not. So I guess that's the reason why there's tests there, but not it's not really like super secure, but it works, I guess.
talked about in my other videos is horrible. With this new age verification system, YouTube risks blocking legitimate educational, artistic, and political
Um, yeah, this seems about right, I guess.
content from countless young people. YouTube is radically different than most other social media apps. Most social media apps, when you think of social media, you're probably thinking of things like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
Yeah.
TikTok, even. These apps are a lot more two directional. So on Instagram, for instance, the primary way that young people spend time on there is DMing with friends. A lot of other apps, users are more likely to post on the apps. They're more like chat platforms and they're truly like social media. YouTube has always been very different in that the vast majority of people that use YouTube are actually consumers of content. They're not posting content themselves. YouTube has become the number one
I
educational
am now.
platform. It's where people go to learn about news and politics. It's home to tons of video footage of news programs, local news programs, cable news clips, etc. It's how people learn about the world. And YouTube also is something that a lot of people watch on TV. They watch actually on the big screen. They're consuming information, they're using
Really?
it for learning. They're not using it to like spam post silly like meme content.
I mean, I don't really watch YouTube on a TV, but mm, I guess so. Yeah, older viewers fuel YouTube to move to number one among TV distributors in February. Hmm, interesting.
The way that a lot of people are using Instagram or sharing family photos. So I would argue that YouTube is actually a lot more akin to a big educational resource. Like think of it as a library. I mean, YouTube is kind of the internet's library. It's this big place where you can go to freely access tons of informational and educational content from brilliant people all around the world. Is there garbage in there? Yes, there's garbage in the traditional library too. But if we start age gating access,
Yeah, but a lot of that garbage isn't really like garbage. A lot of it is just like age restricted for no reason. I'll take gun tubers in for an example because like I don't know, it's not like seeing guns is gonna influence a kid to have like a bad influence on guns and, use them for like the wrong purpose. Nah, like I'd say some of the unless it's like yeah, they don't promote like bad content. They promote like cool, educational, and like just like wow factor kind of stuff. I'd say like Demolition Ranch and Kentucky Ballistics are like the most like family friendly kind of like gun related stuff. Like on, it's not that bad. Really, there's no need to like age restrict or like gun related content on YouTube. Like no. Mm-mm. Yeah, and then YouTube just leaves out the actual like bad stuff out. Like it's stupid.
to information and rolling out these identity verification systems, young people are suddenly not going to have access to a lot of quote unquote adult content. We've seen these laws actually replicated in libraries where young people are not allowed to take out classic books like The Catcher in the Rye or other, classic tales that have mentions of sex or themes about LGBTQ people.
You can't take out books, explicit novels. I mean, they're novels, they're books, and they're in a library, so I don't see why you can't just get them. Well, unless it's like, um, yeah, unless it's like that, then like, yeah, I don't think you should be buying those books unless you're unless it's for like a story based stuff anyway. But LGBTQ books, I could completely understand why they're banned. I don't need to talk about that.
things like that. Now you're seeing that sort of similar restriction come to YouTube, where suddenly young people are not going to be able to view potentially a lot of content on YouTube. It's going to be age gated from them or downranked to the point that they might not encounter it at all. We know that crackdowns on adult content, as you can see with what just happened in the UK, doesn't just restrict young people from access to porn, it restricts young people's access to journalism, information about war crimes, anything to do with like politics, especially.
That'd be kind of wild, actually. Yeah. This is major foreshadowing right now. Like, I, this right here is like major foreshadowing right now. Like, I was gonna talk about like this soon, but like, I guess it's already like spilling the beans about the whole like thing. I'm calling it the thing because yeah, well, we will talk about that soon in a few minutes. But yeah, you can't just ban somebody from watching the news like that, bro. Like imagine me, to like, okay, I'm gonna be honest right now. I'm like not legal right now, but like I'm interested in like what's going on around the world. Like you can't stop me from like hearing what's on, let's say Fox News. Like no, like especially older kids, like they're gonna be interested in like the real world. Like you can't stop them from like hearing about like war, politics, and what's going on. Like no, especially if they're studying like government economics in like school. Like that'd be like intriguing, you know? Like yeah.
Any information that challenges the
Let's go
war
back to that.
crimes,
Hold
any
on. Yeah, as soon as policy takes effect, reports emerge from credits identity support, global journalism, conflict reporting. Yeah, conflict reporting, public health related forums, and other forums that are related to this kind of stuff. Like that's not really. It should be educational stuff that teaches you about assault, smoking, and this like it's stuff that kids need to be taught. Kids as in like teens, young teens, and older teens need to be taught like you know you shouldn't do this, do that. Like you think it's gonna like no, it makes no sense. No.
porn, it restricts young people's access to journalism, information about war crimes, anything to do with like politics, especially any information that challenges the government or systems like capitalism. And while YouTube and other tech platforms sort of preemptively roll out this stuff in the meantime, as I mentioned previously, there's not a lot of oversight. It's super subjective and arbitrary. We have no visibility into these AI systems that they're using or their algorithms.
You have to guess your age, so it's not actually trying to like figure out like your age. Yeah, that's a flaw. That's a flaw because anyone could just watch like adult content on YouTube and it'll think that they're like 18 plus. It doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Have actual people do the work.
None of this is open source. Moderators can also mislabel content, and there's just a huge potential for potentially or socially sensitive topics to be suppressed under age restricted content. Also, in order to run these age verification systems, which by the way are not even effective, really, because they constantly misclassify people, unlike what a lot of maybe the public believes, don't actually age at the same rate. And even the best age verification tools have like a pretty wide range of often 3 to 5 to 7 years of how old they think you are. Like one 17-year-old does not inherently look exactly the same as another 17-year-old, and a 17-year-old does not look inherently different from an 18-year-old. For instance, you could be
Exactly.
17 at 11:59 p.m. and 18 at 12:01 a.m. and you're not going to meaningfully see any change in your appearance. So I just want to disabuse
Yeah,
people.
like what? That is true. Like I know this isn't gonna like matter to like somebody who's almost turning 18 because like then they won't have like anything to worry about. But like yeah, like a freshly new like 18-year-old is like might get like mistaken for like a younger like 17-year-old, and it might consider them, oh, you're underage. Nah, get out of here. Like that is just like dumb. It really is dumb.
This idea that you can like scan people's faces and somehow automatically use AI to know their age. This whole system is already flawed. And of course, YouTube is going to hoover up a huge amount of other user data, user behavior, the type of content you're consuming to try to make these estimations. But all of this just creates a privacy nightmare. It's a privacy nightmare from the fact that these tech companies are now going to be able to collect even more data. YouTube is basically coming out and saying, yes, we're going to seize even more data. We're going to monitor literally everything you do on this platform. And if we deem that you're under 18, you're going to have to manually provide data like your government ID, etc. But it all just normalizes this unprecedented level of ongoing tracking. And of course, YouTube is going to claim, well, we don't store any of this data. We're not storing it. We're just using it for a quick ID check and so on. I have to tell you guys, please go watch my other video with Eric Goldman on age verification systems. This still creates huge data privacy risks because there is still that point of exposure. For instance, when you are taking a selfie, that data does still need to be logged somewhere and recorded somewhere. And your identity is recorded somewhere because you're not going to scan your face every single time you use YouTube. You scan your face once and then your behavior is tied to that YouTube account. And if they start to think that you're under 18, again, they might ask you to re-verify your identity. And this data, if it gets hacked, which it inevitably will, can be used by the government, by bad actors, advertisers, just any malicious person seeking to leverage data against you. And you
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a whole lot of hackers out there that like steal your private information and sell it. And yeah, you need to use like data stuff or like something like delete me that deletes your or that keeps your personal information like hidden. But like yeah, not everybody uses like that kind of stuff. So yeah, you could get your private information sold or like compromised. But I mean, not really like the government, unless you're like some nationwide like criminal, then yeah, they can track you. But no, I don't think so.
might think, well, so what? I'm just watching silly YouTube videos. None of this is ever going to be used against me. I encourage you to look at what the government is doing right now with ICE and consider the fact that Donald Trump has said that he wants to go after US American citizens. Look at what's happening right now in the UK under their terrorism laws, where they're prosecuting people for speech. People at the US border are coming in and being asked about their social media accounts, why they follow specific people, why they shared specific memes, why they have specific memes on their phones. I made a video recently about one traveler who was attempting to come into the US and was deported after Customs and Border Patrol found a JD Vance meme on his phone.
That sounds crazy. No, I mean this could be fake, but I don't know, bro. This sounds kind of dumb.
I also think that
I
these
don't think
age
so.
verification or identity verification systems create a chilling effect. Certainly, if I know that my offline identity is suddenly tied to my YouTube account and what I'm consuming, I would be nervous to consume specific videos. I think a lot of people might not consume certain controversial content. They might be nervous to subscribe to specific creators. And ultimately, it will just leave the public less informed. Content creators will also be incentivized to not create content that is age restricted, as in not create educational content, information about politics, any sort of content, again, that challenges power and challenges the government or could be deemed adult. All of this leads to a less informed public. I also just hate this idea that young people shouldn't be exposed to potentially controversial news or sexual information. Young people need to learn about the world, especially teenagers. I have no problem with children under the age of 13 being on YouTube Kids account, right? At that point, they're kids. But teenagers are entering the world and they're in this phase of life where they need to discover and learn about the world. Some of
Exactly.
them are getting ready to vote for the first time.
hmm
AI driven age gating systems shouldn't hold them back from specific content. And it goes without saying that all of these changes will have a
I mean, I understand that like teenagers aren't the smartest people in the world. No, teens and young adults, but like they learn. That's the thing, and the internet's like a great place to learn about stuff. But if they're getting like deemed as like little kids, then like that's I don't think that's like it's not gonna help, and it's not good at all. Definitely not good. Okay, okay. Now let's get into the super juicy stuff. So yeah, as you saw in like the other like YouTube AI verification age restriction videos. Yeah, they talked about a little bit about the UK, and for those who don't know what's going on, apparently the UK is like passing like a safety act where like they ask for verification on many different apps and websites on the internet to like verify if the user's 18, and apparently for child protection, but people say it's for the government to control like the internet and track people apparently. So I don't know what's up with that, but we have this video that we're gonna watch and see what's dive in and see like what theories people have to this.
With Spotify ID verifications, YouTube verifications, adult site verifications, Reddit verifications, and even VPNs potentially being illegal now, it seems like anything deemed unsafe by the government is now locked behind an age check. In the UK, websites like Reddit and X now legally have to ask for a picture of your face or a copy of your ID, and the US and the European Union are now set to pass similar laws, as we witness in front of our eyes a very quick, coordinated attack on the internet. But to understand why this is really happening now, who is coordinating this, and why they're really doing this in the first place, we need to look at what's been secretly happening in the UK.
I don't know. It seems weird and it doesn't seem like possible to just lock down like the internet like that. I mean, depending on like which region, because the internet's just like it's satellite, like it just exists. Like you can't like control it like that, can you? I don't know. Let's get into it.
As this is where it all started. Now, while ostensibly in place to protect the kids, the UK has introduced the Online Safety Bill, going into action at the end of July 2025. The government claims that this is just for kids to not watch adult content, but this act has been making headlines for other reasons instead.
No, you see, you gotta upload your driver's license to Spotify or else we won't be able to protect the kids.
First, there's the insanely wide net the UK government has thrown over the entire internet. You've got the obvious stuff blocked now like adult content sites, but it's extended way past that. Spotify users have been enraged after Spotify has confirmed the checks would extend to explicit music on the platform. And what's more is that the platform will also ban users that fail the checks, or when Spotify thinks its users are underage. Discord is already asking for ID now to see channels that the server owner deemed as 18 plus regardless of the content. YouTube is planning on asking for ID beginning in August. First, an AI will look at the content that you watch and then try to decide whether you're a kid or not. Watch too many Minecraft videos? You better watch out.
Not the
At this
Minecraft
point though,
videos,
it should
bro.
be pretty obvious that the measures are full of problems, the least being how useless it is for actually protecting children in the first place. Everyone under the age of 40 already knows how to get past any of this stuff. As long as at least one country somewhere in the world doesn't have these measures, using a VPN will get you past the age check. In fact, we've already seen this in action. The download numbers on various app stores have been going crazy. Proton VPN, just one of the many available options, saw a 1,800% increase in downloads when the act came into effect. And it isn't the only option.
Yo, low key, any YouTuber that's promoting like a VPN right now as like a sponsorship would be getting a crap load of like promotion because they're promoting a VPN for protection against the internet. Uh, yeah, I think that'd be kind of funny.
Either. Lots of people have found success circumventing the checks with random pictures or even screenshots from video games. So it's hard to see how the checks will ever be able to deal with AI generated faces or really any picture or 3D model
What
of
even
the
is
face.
that?
It means that anyone who
that
actually
is.
wants to get past the blocks, including children, easily can. The UK government knows this and already knew this before they passed the act. In fact, part of the act bars websites from suggesting a VPN as a way around it. So who are the only people that don't know about VPNs? That won't know how to install and use them? Well, older people, people who have been left behind by technology already. They're the ones who will blindly give away their ID and pictures of their face. Most will assume it's government guaranteed and safe, but of course, it really isn't. Instead, the law changes open the door to a set of corporate contractors. Unknown until now, internet users are expected to share their most confidential information with these companies just to use the internet. So who are these companies? Well, let's take a look at Persona, the company that Reddit and OpenAI have chosen to conduct their checks. Taken directly from their privacy policy, Persona securely stores all photos of identity documents that you upload, photos of your face that you upload, and data from scans of facial geometry. Persona also fails to tell people when verifying that third-party vendors can also have access to all of this, meaning they give it to a ton of other companies. What's more, those claims about immediately destroying the data are really nonsense. The privacy policy indicates that they don't even get rid of it for a whole 3 years.
So as I was saying, like, what do you do with the stuff for 3 years? Like, you're supposed to just like it just sits there, like, waiting to be deleted. Like, you could do some serious stuff with that information, like once you collect it from somebody. Like, you can't just let it sit for 3 years and do nothing about it. Like, no.
The timer resets, and that 3 years is only if the government doesn't explicitly tell them to keep it, in which case they will. So just by looking at one of these companies tells you that they can keep it for pretty much however long they want. Then there's the fact that it doesn't really matter what these companies say anyway. They routinely underinvest in cybersecurity, which leads to massive data breaches all of the time. Then millions of people's data gets sold to the highest bidder. Literally days before this act even came into effect, the women's dating app T also had a massive data breach. The app was designed for women to gossip about men in a safe space, enforced through mandatory facial verification for users.
Oh yeah, I'm glad that got data breached. Let's take a look at all the women that are talking bad about men. But like, okay, that's actually like that's like really concerning. You can't just say that you're gonna protect somebody and then have professional hackers come in and data breach websites that protect like that are supposed to be protected because they have your data. And it's a real thing. People just like your random information could be just sold online without you knowing about it and whatnot. And like, yeah, yeah, that's not good. That's not good whatsoever.
They said in their privacy policy that they deleted all the verification images immediately. However, when the breach happened, tens of thousands of these images were stolen and leaked online, and it's just been one of the many data breaches this year. You clearly can't trust these corporate contractors, especially these small shady companies which have suddenly been given a guaranteed middleman spot by this new law. So because the government says so, people using the internet are now forced to give their ID to a selection of various companies, who will share it with whomever they like and delete it when they feel like, if at all. In many people's opinions, it's the government itself that should be under scrutiny. They're the ones who should be treated like criminals, mainly because so many of them are actually criminals. There's been far too many scandals to count recently with Parliament. You've got the fraudulent PPE contracts, the expenses scandal, the breakdown of the S&P in Scotland for financial crime, just to name a few. And so if anyone should be getting monitored and surveilled, it's the people who wrote this law in the first place. Although we've just shown what almost everyone already knew about this, that this part of the Online Safety Act is useless because of VPNs. It's malicious because of the potential for data breaches, and hypocritical because of who it targets. And they already knew this before they passed it, it's just too obvious. So what's the real reason behind all of this? Well, a key aim of the Online Safety Act seems to be to control what adults view on the internet, based on their understandable hesitation to give away their picture and ID. You can draw this conclusion from what they've been using it to block. Lots of subreddits surrounding adult content were blocked by the act, of course, but lots of other ones were also caught in the crossfire. The Stop Smoking and Stop Drinking subreddits have been reported as being blocked to some users. And you'd think the UK government would want kids to have access to those resources, especially considering they let the vape companies get them all addicted years ago. Other potentially sensitive content is now being gated off. People have reported that X is blocking footage from immigration protests in the UK. A speech from a member of parliament was also blocked. It was about the...
I mean, the UK is already known for like being left side sympathetic and whatnot. Like I'm pretty sure that that's a thing. Like, what was it, Tyler Oliveira? Yeah, the journalist Tyler Oliveira went to the UK and investigated that, and talked about how there's a lot of journalists being arrested, and like they have like internet people watching the internet to see if there's any like bad posts, and like software track and ban like whoever's making them, basically. Which that alone is like pretty much invasive, but like it's also kind of like useful for protectiveness, but like it's not like, yeah. I mean, the UK's got no free speech anyway, so I don't know.
horrific grooming gang scandal that's been rocking the UK recently. This is a clear example of harm being done to minors, yet the government chose to block people from discussing it. It's also been reported that posts about Gaza and Ukraine have been blocked as well. The danger lies in this escalating out of control. You give the government an inch and they'll take a mile, as we saw during COVID. And this law sets the precedent of handing over the power of censorship to algorithms. Algorithms and AI built and designed to follow broad guidelines dictated by the people in power. This is so dystopian, and yet nobody realizes the true extent of how bad the situation really is, as it matches up with other UK laws and measures designed to restrict people's freedoms. The UK and Apple have been in a massive battle for years over privacy. The UK is demanding that Apple let them have a backdoor into people's messages and private information. This backdoor doesn't even exist, and yet the UK...
No. You can't track people's iMessages like that. Like, no. Like, like, that's private. No. And your contacts are also, like, private, too. Like, you cannot do that. It's ridiculous, that's for sure. And by the, like, what he's saying, like, about it being dystopian and just having the government control everything that you're doing is basically, like, a topic that people have talked about, but, like, not believing it'd be real, because, like, no, like, people are like, it's not gonna happen, like, obviously no, but so far, based on this, it's kind of talking about, like, it's making it look like as if it is real. Some, like, I don't know, China, North Korea kind of stuff, where, like, everything's, like, blocked and, like, limited, and people's movements are tracked. Like, I don't think Western nations would, like, adopt that kind of stuff. But for right now, it's doing a good job of making it look like it is right now. The UK, at least. Not the US, like, no. I don't think the US would, like, do that. Fully. Not adopt this exactly, but, like, somewhat, in a way. Not as extreme, at least, but still, like, highly surveillanced and highly, like, sophisticated.
is insisting that Apple break their promises and have it installed. Meanwhile, they've done the same for WhatsApp's end-to-end encryption as well, despite the fact that nobody can read those messages, not even WhatsApp, allegedly. Now, lots of tech companies may follow suit in pushing the UK on this one. At least you'd hope so. As I mean, when you've got Meta of all companies fighting for data protection against your own government, you know you're cooked. The measures are likely to play right into the hands of populists like Nigel Farage, and it could very likely win in the next election, as it's such a terrible, awful look for Labour and Starmer to force this through despite the immense backlash. All Labour have done is dig the hole further and further, with how deeply the public no longer trust the government of England anymore. It's so bad that members of Parliament now label those who don't agree with this bill as siding with predators by opposing the Online Safety Act, calling people Jimmy Savile supporters.
Verifying your age keeps
nah.
a child safe, keeps children safe in our country. And I say to people like Nigel Farage, who want to turn the clock back and wants to just overturn these regulations, every time he does this and says it, he makes children more exposed, more susceptible to dangerous content.
It's a really disturbing, stupid attempt to silence criticism which everyone can see through. This is a coordinated, choreographed effort by major Western governments to limit internet freedom. They've wanted this for years and it's finally coming to fruition. Just take a look at some of the other measures that...
I mean, I don't know, bro. That sounds like very, very just like it sounds too far to happen. And it sounds like that's the kind of stuff that would change, like, over time. Like, what if, like, oh yeah, they want to control the internet for power's sake? Like, I don't know. And it's not like it would last long either, because, like, let's say a new leader comes into the picture that takes away all that stuff. And then another one comes in, puts back those measures again and again and again, and so on. If that makes sense. Like, that's what this sounds like. But it sounds like they've been teaming up together secretly without nobody knowing. And also, if so, then, like, it's not talked about, like, in the news. You could Google it. Like, right now, Google it, and, like, it's like it's some of the least, like, search stuff right now. Even, like, YouTube, like, being, like, age verified. Like, no. I mean, other YouTubers like some of the biggest YouTubers, like let's say Mr. Beast, isn't talking about it. But probably because he thinks that he knows that like he's like family friendly enough and like big enough to where YouTube wouldn't really affect him as much. Which I guess is a way to look at it. I don't know.
They're drafting across the democratic world. In the European Union, under Denmark's 2025 presidency, they've revived the chat control legislation, which aims to mandate client-side scanning of all private messages even on encrypted platforms like WhatsApp and Signal, all to ostensibly detect CSAM. But what this is really doing is effectively ending end-to-end encryption and opening the door to mass surveillance and systemic security vulnerabilities, which is all part of their wider Protect EU initiative, which seeks to enable lawful decryption of private communications by 2030. Then we have Australia, arguably the most aggressive Western country when it comes to taking away internet freedom, as their e-safety commissioner has sweeping powers to now demand content takedowns within 24 hours, including posts on private messaging apps, and non-compliance of this can lead to millions in fines, as Australia has criminalised end-to-end encryption resistance. Under the Toller Act, the government can legally force tech companies to build backdoors into encrypted apps like WhatsApp and Signal, and gag orders prevent them from telling the public, and they too are also pushing for facial recognition technology to enforce age verification, also that they can ensure who uses social media and who doesn't, even going as far to apparently ban kids from social media. In the US, we have the Kids Online
I mean, that would be an easier stuff to do. Just, I mean, why not tell parents to make their kids go off the internet less, if not a whole lot? Because I mean, I was a kid. I never really used like social media to begin with. I mean, yeah, as a young like 2000s Gen Zer, but like I think like with younger generations, like hopping onto social media like at like an earlier age, then like it can be like it could get pretty messed up or like messy. Yeah, messy. But like yeah, just tell them not to use the internet. Don't take away the freedom, the internet freedom. Because then it just ruins it for everybody else. Like it's not going to work out.
Safety Act, which gives the government and state attorneys general power to control online content that could be deemed harmful to minors. But like all of these governments, the language is vague. It's clearly just a front to control and regulate more of the internet. And the US is even
I mean, this is a big deep theory too. Like I don't know. Stuff going on is too big, and as for US blocking stuff on social media, like Trump's active on social media. I don't think he'd want to, the Online Safety Act would ban his stuff too. So, I don't know.
trying to push through the Screen Act, requiring comprehensive age verification for all users on the internet, potentially ending anonymous browsing in the US as a whole. It's clear governments around the world are suddenly in unison, quietly and rapidly coordinating to take unprecedented control of the internet under the guise of just protecting the children. It's like the Simpsons meme of saving the children. Ireland is now proposing a law that will allow the government to scan your private messages directly on your phone before you even send them. Not by breaking encryption, but by implementing client-side scanning, which means the government could get access to your messages before they're encrypted straight from your device. And the UK is already a step ahead on that. In the Online Safety Act, they give Ofcom the power to mandate the same kind of invasive surveillance, scanning your messages before they even leave your phone, something straight out of Minority Report. And this isn't hypothetical, this is now reality. We are currently witnessing a horrifying force to control the internet, and this should alarm everyone watching this video right now, as the internet as you know it is being taken away from you in a coordinated global government effort, and nobody voted for any of this. But if you really want to understand why they're doing this, you can have a look at this video where we predicted 2 years ago where the governments in the West would take away our freedoms online.
Okay, now this whole thing does seem kind of like crazy so far. Like the YouTube verification thing, yes. UK verification thing, yeah. But the whole world, yeah, world leaders and governments coming together to lock down the internet. I don't know. It sounds too, I'm not gonna say too good to be true, too impossible to be true. Like too crazy to be true. Like no, I don't think that's gonna happen. At least not for a long time. No, honestly, there's like too big of other situations that are going on like in the world right now for that to like happen. But it could happen. Who knows? Like dystopian style, like stuff where like people are just like controlled and being taught that like it's normal. But you know what? I'm not gonna talk about that. But yeah, you guys get the picture, right? Well, anyways, that's the end. That's the end of the video. Yeah, this is crazy. I'll definitely like probably I don't know if something new happens, then I will look into it more. But yeah, this is definitely some deep research, like some deep information, I'd say, or like cool like content to look into and see like what else is gonna happen. I don't think it's anything else. I don't think anything else new is gonna happen. But yeah, that's it. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, like, and share, and don't forget to hit the notifications so you can get more content like this delivered to your subscription box and when I upload another video, because yeah, I want to make sure that yeah, I promise I will upload more often. Not like I'm not gonna go on hiatuses. So yeah, don't worry. Thanks for watching, and yeah.